These are two of the best hybrid people movers that you can buy, but they are made for completely different people.
We're Edmunds, and we test hundreds of cars each year on the road and at our private track, so you get the most trusted reviews. If you want to know which car, truck, or SUV is the best, then stick with us.
This is the Toyota Sienna. You remember that? The old swagger wagon? Well, this hybrid comes in at right around $42,000, but we've got a loaded version here and it is over 50,000 bucks. Of course, what you pay is going to depend on dealers in your area, and we've got tools on the site to let you know what you should pay. So there's some links to both vehicles down below, or you can just hit that QR code. Now, we could make the argument that the Sienna here is the most practical, most family-friendly vehicle on the market, but whether or not it works for you really does depend on your priorities. Storage? We got it. There's some storage over here, some storage over there. Wave your hands in the air. Interior storage in a minivan is absolutely essential, and the Toyota delivers. I mean, I got shelves, I got 16 cup holders, dual level door pockets, a place for your bag. The Toyota's got it all, and it is glorious. Toyota's actually been on a roll with storage lately, as we've seen in the RAV4 and the Grand Highlander, which are both members of the Edmunds 1-year road test fleet. And what about the rest of the interior? Well, I mean, it's good, but it's just not very special. These front seats are comfortable enough, but they are super adjustable, so drivers of a lot of different sizes should be able to find a comfy driving position. These seats are synthetic leather, but I really like this embossed pattern that we've got on here, and this Woodland Edition has got some contrasting stitching that I find pretty darn groovy. The materials in here are pretty good, and most of the places where you touch a lot, they skip that kind of hard plasticky trim, and instead they give you a nice soft touch upholstery. The tech here is actually pretty good. This big screen is standard on all but the lowest trim, and I like that you've got these big buttons here. It's really easy to use while you're driving. Now, we do like the menu structure a little bit better that Toyota debuted in the new RAV4, but if you don't want to deal with Toyota's interface at all, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both standard. There's a really nice blend here of physical and digital controls. So you've got real buttons for your climate control and a physical volume knob. And then some of the features that you wouldn't use that much, they are buried like 1 or 2 menus deep in the infotainment system. But the real reason to buy a Sienna is in the back. In fact, my cameraman right now is sitting in the back seat and the camera is in the back, and that never happens. Slide! Look at all of the leg room back here, and these seats are super comfortable. I mean, I just love how versatile this second row is, because I can push these seats all the way back and then have all of this room, or I can move them all the way forward. So if I've got little kids here, it's easier to pass them snacks, and it gives me more room for people and cargo back there. Now, while we're talking about car seats, there's more than enough room back here to put some rear-facing car seats without needing to move these seats all the way forward. Plus, the latches and the tethers are really easy to use. And here's a little thing that you might not think is a big deal, but it kind of is. See, these seatbelt receivers here, they have a little bit of play in them. So if you've got a little one that wants to be independent, it's easy for them to buckle their own seatbelt. Plus, the seatbelts are attached to the seats themselves, so you can move the seat backwards and forwards without having to worry about what's going to happen to the car seat. Plus, you've got ceiling mounted air vents here, and that's much better at keeping your rear seat passengers cool than when you have an air vent mounted on the floor. But there is one downside. If you want the bench seat so that you can fit 8 passengers and 3 across here, that is limited to the 2 lower trims, so you're going to miss out on a lot of features. And there is a lot back here. I mean, I've got USB-C ports, I've got outlets, climate controls up here, I've got window shades. I mean, there is a ton of features, and it's not in this vehicle, but you can get a little fridge and footrest that come out for the second row. I mean, come on. One killer feature? Okay, this particular Sienna doesn't have it. It's only available on the limited and platinum trims, but it is an integrated vacuum cleaner that's right in the center console. I mean, come on, no more wayward Cheerios. Toyota also has a very clever rear seat reminder system that uses a radar to detect any motion in the vehicle even after you've walked away and locked the door. So in that case, it'll flash the hazards, it'll give you a little lock chime, it'll honk the horn, heck, it'll even send you a text message. You're not gonna forget anything in this vehicle. Now the third row is almost as good as the second, but I want to talk about the doors because they open up super wide and it gives you a couple of different options for getting into the back. With the captain's chairs, you can go around the middle, or you can just slide these guys all the way forward and go through this way. There is plenty of room back here for adults, to say nothing of kids. Plus you've got more USB-C ports, more cup holders, more vents, and look at how cute that little window covering is. It's adorable. Now, although technically there are 3 seat belts back here, because of the width of the bench, those kids are gonna have to really like each other or be really small. It's more of like a 2 people in the third row type of situation. There's also only 2 sets of child seat anchors, but really there's only enough room for 2 car seats anyway, so no big loss. And one quick note, the buckles can kind of hide themselves in the seats here, so kids and boosters might have a hard time buckling themselves in. Now, cargo space back here is significantly smaller than what you find in the Kia, but that doesn't mean that it's all bad. I've got a really deep compartment here, and I've got a little cubby behind me. Plus, I've got an outlet and a little light. Those are all good things. Why don't these little straps have a piece of Velcro? I mean, it would just make it so much nicer. And getting these seats to come down, it's kind of, well, it's a little, how do I say, awkward? Come on, girl. There we go. No. Oh, there's Velcro here. Then to make them fold, I gotta pull this, get that down there. Those second row seats, I can't fold them flat and I can't take them out. So it's just not as versatile as other minivans. Well, at least the fuel economy is good, right? Well, we had one of these in our 1-year road test fleet, and over about 19,000 miles, we actually got really good fuel economy, about 10 miles per gallon better than what you would get in any gas-powered minivan. And the good news here is that every Sienna comes with the hybrid powertrain, so you're not even paying extra for it. And listen, it's a good thing that this guy is efficient, because let me tell you, the lack of power here means that you're gonna have to be really comfortable just flooring it in order to get to that power, especially if you've got a van full of people and their stuff. The brakes are effective, but they feel kind of inconsistent. Like they can be really grabby around town, but then kind of soft when you're slowing down from highway speeds. And that makes it really difficult to drive this vehicle smoothly. The ride quality here is pretty comfortable, but over large bumps, it feels really floaty, and that does not inspire confidence. The driver's aids here are pretty basic, but you do have what you need. You've got adaptive cruise control, lane centering, blind spot monitoring, and emergency braking, and they all work well enough. It's just that you don't have any of those high-tech features like you would in an SUV. So don't look for like automatic lane change or automatic parking. So this thing is really easy to drive around town. I love that I've got great visibility and the parking cameras are really clear. But here's where Toyota has got one up on the Kia and even on the Honda Odyssey. You can get the Sienna with all-wheel drive. So if you live in colder climates or someplace that's got a lot of rain, it's gonna give you a lot of confidence when the road gets slippery. So the Toyota Sienna. It is practical, family-friendly, well-built. It's just not very exciting. But the Kia Carnival, that's a little bit different. Now the regular gas Carnival starts at under $40,000, and this hybrid starts at under $43,000, so right about the same as a Toyota. But I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, this car is much nicer than the Sienna. But in a car like this, nicer doesn't always mean better. Materials, design, tech, it is all just one notch up in here. Listen, we've driven all the minivans out there, and these are by far the best seats. They are comfortable, they are soft, and there is a ton of space. Love it, love it, love it. Now this is a higher trim than what we have in the Sienna, but we've driven even the top trim of the Sienna and it just can't compare. This leather here is just so soft and it's so rich. It's almost like it came out of a luxury minivan. Tech is a very strong point here, and regardless of trim, you've got your infotainment screen and your gauge cluster under one curved panel. And it doesn't matter what trim you get, you always get a big screen. And Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless of course, are both along for the ride as standard fare. We really like how this infotainment screen works. I mean, it's very responsive, it's super easy to use, especially when it's paired with the digital gauge cluster that you get in the top two trims. Basically, Kia has the best tech in the business. Plus, all trims except for the base Carnival get an in-cabin camera and intercom system, so you can keep an eye on and talk to all your passengers without having to turn around. We only have two complaints here. The first is that Kia uses the same area of buttons for both the media and the climate control, and it makes you toggle through. It's so distracting to use while you're driving, you guys. I hate it. And the second is that the storage is way down in here. And that is one of the most important things about a minivan. I mean, I'm just lacking all of the deep cup holders and all the shelves and the cubbies of what I get in the Sienna. I mean, yeah, the storage in here is okay, but it's just not any better than what you would find in a regular SUV. But this is a minivan. I need places to put all my stuff and my kids' stuff and their friends' stuff and their friends' friends' stuff. Now this Kia Carnival has got some crazy VIP seats. First off, unless you get the highest trim level and opt for the VIP seating package, every Carnival comes with 3 seats across the second row and seating for 8. The middle seat folds down for a couple extra cup holders and an armrest. Plus, even the base Carnival Hybrid gets synthetic leather, where the base Sienna has fabric upholstery that's easier to stain. The seats slide back and forth, but not as far in either direction as the Sienna's, and although there's plenty of space, the tight fit on the leather makes car seat install just a little bit trickier. Other than that, you can get all the USB ports, climate controls, and ceiling air vents that you could ever want in a vehicle like this, plus you even get a window shade. Okay, but yes, if you get the SX Prestige, you can opt for these VIP seats with the power recline and power footrest with heat and cooling. They are so very comfortable. Now you can get seats with a footrest in the Sienna, but these are just so much more comfortable. It is the most comfortable that you can be in the back of a minivan. The problem is it's really difficult to install a car seat, and you lose the option of folding these seats forward, so you can only get into the back row by going through the middle. Basically, these seats are really good for adults and teenagers, not so good for kids. And speaking of climbing in through the middle, this is the alternative. That is not a lot of room. Sure, a kid could do it, but an adult, no. And climbing up in between the seats, it's not much better. Plus, if you need to get adults back here, then you have to push these seats pretty far forward in order to have enough legroom. The space back here is just not as accessible as what you get in the Sienna. But hey, at least I got cup holders, USB seats, and sunshades back here, right? But like the Sienna, there are 3 sets of seatbelts back here, but I don't think you want to put 3 people back here. They're gonna have to be really small or really like each other. And one thing I really like is that these headrests kind of fold all the way down, so they're not blocking your view out the back through the rearview mirror. You guys, look at how much nicer this is. Just a single piece of Velcro. That's all you need. Now, the Carnival does have more cargo space than the Sienna, but there is a caveat. See, these second row VIP seats, you can't remove them. But in other trims, that second row seat is removable, although they are a little bit heavy. But what I like here is that I've got this same little deep bin area here. I've got some bins on the side. I have 2 different outlets here, plus a light. And these seats fold much as they do in the Sienna. Just pull this little guy, bring that back. No, I got it. And then pull back. See? Simple. Easy. Do it every day. Yeah, the efficiency here is just not on the same level. I mean, look, we've had this vehicle as part of our 1-year road test fleet for about 11 months and over 10,000 miles. The efficiency just can't touch what happens with the Sienna. I mean, is it better than the other gas minivans? I mean, sure. It's just that you are definitely going to be spending more money on fuel with the Carnival than you would with the Sienna. And it's not like any of that extra fuel consumption goes towards performance. So we take every single vehicle that we test to our Edmunds test track. Yes, even the minivans. And out there, the Carnival was marginally slower from 0 to 60 than the Toyota. The tuning of the electric and the gas powertrains working together is just not quite as smooth as what happens in the Toyota. And yes, it is quick enough for merging and passing. It's just that you're really gonna have to dig into that throttle in order to access that power. The ride quality here is okay, but it's not really any better than the Sienna. As far as visibility, I mean, yeah, that's pretty equal. You can see out really well, but if you get a Carnival in the upper trims, look what happens when I turn on my turn signal. I get that little video feed. I love it so much. And when it comes to driver's aids, well, it's pretty much the same story as what you've got in the Sienna. I mean, the features are comprehensive and they're really effective. It's just that there's really nothing special here. And before we get into value, you know the drill. If you've got any questions, or if maybe you want us to do like a minivan throwdown where we add the Honda Odyssey and the Chrysler Pacifica into the mix, let us know in the comments because we do read every single one. And listen, if you made it this far, give us the old like and subscribe. I mean, you're here anyway, you might as well. The Kia is a really nice van and it has some clutch features that you cannot get in the Sienna. But they're just both really good at completely different things. So both the Kia and the Sienna start at right around the same price, but that does not tell the whole value story because the top trim here is $5,000 more. And Toyota's warranty really isn't anything all that special. It's 5 years or 60,000 miles. Now you do get a few years of complimentary maintenance and that's worth at least a couple $100, right? But when it comes to fuel economy, we did the math and on average, you're gonna spend about $300 less per year on fuel with the Sienna than you would with the Kia. Now, as for the Kia, with the base starting price, you're gonna get a few extra standard features like synthetic leather seats and the big touchscreen. But if you get a loaded model, I mean, yes, you will miss out on the fridge and the vacuum cleaner, but you will also get better materials here in the Kia, as well as some things that the Toyota doesn't offer, like the in-cabin intercom and camera system, as well as that luxury VIP second row seating experience. And the Kia's warranty is 10 years and 100,000 miles, and that is the best in the business. And to our wallets, that is worth more than just a few years of maintenance. I mean, come on. So basically, when it comes down to it, the Kia wins the value proposition. With an excellent score, the Carnival Hybrid ties the Sienna. With its style, upscale design and materials, and plush seating, it turns the minivan stereotypes on their head. But even though the two vans score the same, we have to give the Sienna a bump to first place overall in our minivan rankings. With the best average MPG and an interior with great flexibility and storage, we think it makes a little more sense for family-oriented buyers. Now, the Toyota has an edge when it comes to driving. Plus, it is roomier, it's got more adjustable seating, and the storage is top-notch. It gets a lot of wins in each box, but the Carnival is not far behind, and its excellent value helps bridge that gap. Now, if you're looking for any more information about the ratings of either of these vehicles, it's over there on our site, along with the rankings of every single minivan that you can buy today. So look, you want to feel like a VIP? Then just get the Carnival. But if you need a workhorse that actually works with your family's chaos and saves you a bunch of gas money at the same time, then the Toyota Sienna is still the king of the carpool lane. Let us know which ones you would choose in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe.